Get ready.
Hi, my name's Kaz Riley, and welcome back to Trancing in the Sheets, the show where we talk about all kinds of things: sex, sexuality, sensuality, kink, hypnosis, and anything else you can think of. Today, I'm talking to the amazing, wonderful, the Princess of Parodies, the Dominatrix of Ditties, Traci Kanaan, for the second time, because Muppet here forgot to press the record button last time we did this. But that's good for me because I get to spend twice as much time with her. So, you know, all good things. So welcome, Traci. Welcome back to the show. And we're talking fetishes today, which are fun, aren't they?
Absolutely. Yes, I am so excited to be back again. Because you didn't push the record button. However, I am really excited to be here today. So looking forward to this very much because we're going to be talking about our favorite subjects.
Yes. And I think, you know, fetishes, you know, the word fetish often is seen as a negative thing, isn't it? But we know different, don't we?
We do. We definitely do. Fetishes are a great thing for us because we make money as hypnotists off them. And but it's also nice to help people achieve their goals in enhancing a fetish that maybe they don't know where else to go with.
Yeah.
So they want to enhance it safely, but for whatever reason they can't. They have a partner who doesn't understand. They don't want to cheat. But they still want to explore this fetish because they're human and they want to get the most out of their life. So it's really fun.
It is. You know, sometimes there can be a hindrance if they're, you know, if they're having a really detrimental effect on somebody's life. But that, I know I see a lot of people, what they're looking for is to rid themselves of this thing that's horrible and not normal and all the things that they see it with. But actually, sometimes the answer isn't to rid them of it, is it?
No, it's not. It's to either taper it or find happy acceptance with it, that's just a part of who they are, and, you know, find a way to release it, but in a safe, non-detrimental way to their relationship or career.
Absolutely. I think, you know, when we think about fetishes, you know, a fetish could be absolutely anything. And I think everybody has a fetish. It's just some are social normal fetishes. So if you look at, you know, breasts, for example, lots of people love breasts, lots of people will fetishize them. I can't say the word. But because that's deemed to be a normal thing, a normal kind of, I don't know what the word, focus, I guess you could call it, then, you know, nobody kind of really thinks twice about that. But then if it turns into feet, for example, or a thing fetish, then people feel a lot of guilt and shame around that, don't they? So how do we help people understand that fetishes are really, I think everybody has one, don't they?
I think so. Again, you know, we tend to work with the clients that have the less socially acceptable fetishes, but yeah, I think everybody has a kind of fetish. And I just wanted to throw this out there that a lot of people might be wondering the difference between a fetish and a kink. And as we all know, fetish is maybe just one or two feathers and kink is the whole chicken. Yeah. So just a little humor.
It is, isn't it, though? But I know with a fetish, people get very worried about it. They get very stressed about them. You know, and I mean, one of the things that I always say to people is, have you Googled it? And they'll say yes. And I say, did you find something? And they'll say, oh, yes, there was loads. And I'll say, well, that's your starting point. That tells you that you can't possibly be the only person that has this fetish, because there it is, you know, there's Google is your answer, you know, in this case, Google, you know, you can find just about anything, can't you? So it's helping people, I think, to either kind of taper it down if that's what they need to do, if it is having, especially with work and, you know, their relationships and they're unable to be sexual or feel sensual in the absence of that fetish. That's where it can start to cause issue. But then the rest of the time, I think most of it's about having been given permission. It's this word permission again. It seems to be, to explore it, to accept it, to kind of really accept it as part of who they are. And then actually it can be a lot of fun for them, can't it? And for other people too. It's not necessarily an individual thing, a fetish, is it?
Right. Right. It could be a lot of different fetishes at once. Yeah. The hard part sometimes as a hypnotherapist and a hypnotist working with this is getting them to narrow down on one or two things, because they come in with like 10 of them. And I'm like, I'll take your money. We can do this all day, but I recommend just picking one or two and let's enhance or taper those, whatever you wish to do.
Absolutely. And I think within kink-friendly hypnosis and hypnotherapy, sometimes it's allowing people to experience their fetish within a safe space, because they can do it sometimes all in their mind, and they can kind of have that safe, non-judgmental space to do that. And sometimes it's about the therapy side of it, isn't it? What kinds of fetishes do you commonly see?
One of the ones that I'm seeing today, and I'm kind of excited about it, is I have a gentleman who has a ball busting fetish, and he is really excited about experiencing ball busting through a hypno femdom. So that one's going to be kind of fun. He had an experience with a doctor. He had a procedure done. I don't want to say which one, but the whole staff was female. She was female. It was, as he's going through it, he got the impression that she was kind of a femdom, because she kept belittling him and being very vocal about the procedure. And he says, I know it was unprofessional, but I was kind of turned on by the whole thing, that, she wanted me to have this procedure and there was a turn on there. So we're going to explore that today, and then take it a step farther with the ball busting. So uh, kind of fun,
Kind of fun, definitely. And I think, if people have a safe space in which to explore that, and they can experience that, however they want to experience that within their minds. Of course, they're in charge of it, aren't they? That's the
Yes.
beauty of it, is that it is a very much an individual kind of experience, and they can, you know, do that without that fear of judgment, which is, I think, one of the things that people really worry about with fetishes.
Yeah.
Even if it's, and to be able to do that in a way with somebody that wants to help them do that, I think that's really important, because we talk a lot about, people imposing fetishes and all the consent issues that has. But in this case, all is good, isn't it? And you know exactly what you've let yourself in for, as well as the person facilitating that experience, which is what it is, isn't it? So
exactly.
and if you work therapeutically with fetishes, what are the ones that you tend to see?
Um, I usually incorporate a little bit of hypnotherapy into everything I do, because a lot of it is getting them to be comfortable in their own skin, and to not worry about being themselves, but to yet put it in such a way where it doesn't ruin a job or a relationship. Um, because of the swinger community, I work with a lot of premature ejaculation, um, sometimes porn addiction, but not too much. With the swinger population, I get a lot of people who have been in a monogamous relationship for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And now they go to a swinger event and there's a playroom, and they want to get involved in the playroom, but they're afraid of being watched by others. Or they get nervous when they have a new partner, or they get nervous when their partner is watching. And sometimes the partner that they've been with 20, 30, 40, 50 years sees them do something with another person, and they're like, well, he's never done that for me. And then there's a little jealousy issue. so sometimes I work with things like that to help
Yeah.
them perform in a playroom or with a new partner when they're just in their same comfort zone for so long.
That's it. And I think with fetishes as well, you know, there's this, some of them are born in childhood and, you know, they, you know, it's not necessarily, I know there's this assumption that it's because of trauma. And certainly from the people that I've worked with, it's not usually trauma. It was normally something that they really liked, you know, and it's just become
Mhm.
attached to something sexual. But we
Yes.
can develop a fetish at any age, can't we? You know, it's not something that you either got one or you haven't got one. You know, we can, you know, we suddenly find that we do have one. Sometimes people, you know, develop them, you know, in the 50s and 60s and 70s. It's not necessarily a lifelong thing, is it, that people have hidden away?
Right, right. And then sometimes you go through like a journey of fetishes where you find one thing that turns you on, and then you find something else that turns you on, and it kind of builds from there. So
Yeah.
I'm always sometimes envious of the people that just find their fetish and know that's it. Like I have a friend who's into spanking. All he does is think about when he's going to get spanked or who he's going to spank next. And I wish my life was so simple. It's not that simple. I have multiple shit going through my head. I'm like, that's hot. Oh, that's hot too. Oh, that's really hot too. So um, I'm almost envious of the mono fetish individual.
But that's what's so cool about kind of the way that modern sexual liberation is going, is that it's about people finding what they really like and they really want and what they want to do. I think we're getting away from, or starting to move away from, this kind of box of what is the sexual norm, because it's
Yeah.
massive, isn't it? You know, all the different things that people like, that want to like, that want to try, you know, and experience. And actually, sometimes what we're doing as kink friendly hypnotherapists is actually just helping them have the confidence to be able to do that, to communicate that, to negotiate, to speak to their partners, to have good consent
Mhm.
practices. You know, it often it's about all of those things so that people can just be happy with who they are sexually, because we're still
Exactly.
taught that a lot of this stuff is just plain wrong, but we know it's not.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of times you probably find this too, that people who are in relationships that have a kink are afraid to tell their partner. And granted, it's a 50-50 chance that they'll go, oh, yuck, ew, or oh, hey, that's kind of hot. Yeah, I want to be a part of that. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's just taking that chance. And then other times there's just a communication breakdown in there. And, you know, it's hard to judge, but
Mm.
uh,
So I had an interesting one recently with a couple. I was working with a couple who, you know, when they started communicating, we did that with mutual hypnosis, and we kind of got them where they were communicating again. So they were talking about the things that they liked to be about each other, the things that they enjoyed, the intimate things that they like, the sexual things that they like, and then their hopes and dreams. And I watched them have this epiphany when they realized that they were both actually, in their minds, very adventurous, and in 26 years had never communicated that to the other one.
yeah.
And, you know, they're having a whale of a time. You know, they're absolutely, you know, having the best sex that they've ever had through, you know,
Mhm.
after 26 years. And it was just, neither had said anything from fear of, you know, I guess that their yum would be yucked, so to speak. It's not a
Right.
fun thing, is it? And that's actually quite common, isn't it, for couples to do that?
Not typically, but it does happen, and it's
Yeah,
cool when it happens, when
yeah,
they're like, "Hey, I've always wanted to do that, but I didn't think you'd be into it."
yeah.
"Well, I've always wanted to do that, but I didn't think you'd be into it." And it's like, "How long have you been living together?" You know, but better that they find it than never find it and always wish they had.
No, absolutely. I think because I work, you know, my mainstay of my clientele, if you like, is the sexual dysfunction. And of course we know a lot, one of the big causes of sexual dysfunction is repression of feelings and all that kind of stuff. So that may be why I kind of see that kind of when people come and I'm working with a couple that actually they both, it's not even they want to spice up their sex lives, it's just that they are actually quite adventurous and have just been repressing it for a long time. And I guess
Mm-hmm.
being able to free that up and just flow with it with somebody you already have a really established, trusting, loving relationship with must be mind blowing, you know, at that point after all those years. And it's what's really interesting is when you see them come back again, like their skins are glowing and they look physically more relaxed, and
Yeah.
you know their
They're
hair seems
happier.
shinier, and you know they've got a spring in their step. And I think when people are really allowed to indulge themselves in their kinks, their fetishes, their preferences, then that actually has a massive effect on every aspect of their life, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. And watching couples grow like that is truly spectacular. Sometimes I do erotic hypnosis with couples in their room,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll hypnotize both of them to just let go and then to watch them interact with each other. It's truly amazing when I remember I had one couple, she didn't believe in hypnosis and he was all in. And so I just hypnotized him and I said, "You're here, come along for the ride if you want, or if you just want to watch." And I remember them engaging in a particular sex act and he is just loving every minute of it. And she is too. And I'm like, "What do you think about hypnosis now?" And she's like, "Believer." So it's all
That's a heck
good.
of a way to get converted to a believer in hypnosis.
It was just so awesome to be a part of that and to open that door for them. So it was just really cool to see that. And this was a couple that was probably in their mid to late 50s, and she had had uh, severe health battles. She had an autoimmune disorder that had sidetracked her, and because of the meds she was on, she wasn't feeling as attractive about herself. And so it was just really gratifying to see all this come together into pleasure for both of them.
Absolutely.
So,
And it's back again, isn't it? I think often hypnosis allows people to give themselves permission for pleasure, isn't it? You know, I know I
exactly.
harp on about permission for pleasure, and you know, people are like, oh, Kaz, you're talking about that again. But there's not enough of it in the world, is there? You know, there's so many ways, especially
Hmm.
with hypnosis, that we can experience or facilitate pleasure for other people.
Yes, it's we have the best job in the world. I just I wish more people would hear about us.
No,
But we truly have
absolutely.
the best job in the world to open all these doors for people and to give them so much pleasure. And it's fun for me when I go on the cruises now. I usually there is a comedian, but I do hypnosis on the side as well. And I see a couple having a great time that I had worked with, and I'm like, I did that.
Yeah.
It's just it's a nice feeling.
So what, in terms of, I know, you know, working with hypnosis within sexuality, the sexual realm, kink friendly, kinky hypnosis. I mean, there's this massive umbrella, isn't there, or lots of things under, you know, that kind of umbrella of hypnosis. What,
Hmm.
you know, and still sometimes I think, you know, there are people, you know, hypnotists even that are very afraid of hypnosis that way. But
Yeah.
actually, I mean, what would you say to those people in terms of, I guess, a bit of reassurance that, you know, this is just as important as any kind of anxiety work, of any kind of liberation work, of any kind of confidence work, isn't it?
Hmm. I always reassure them that, I can't make you do something you don't want to do. And if I do get resistance, I always, let's step into that. Why is your body telling you this? What's going on here? Let's figure this out, because maybe this isn't a place where you need to go if you're getting that kind of resistance. So always kind of checking to make sure that we're on the right path, because I certainly don't want to push them down a path that they're not ready to go, not willing to go. So just reassuring them that, it's not mind control. And then the other thing that I like to do is I reassure my clients that if we work on trigger words or like a hypnotic, give them a word to create a physiological response. I always stress that word is never assigned to me. It's an assignable word that they can give to their loved one or a loved one in the future. That I don't want to be their mama.
No,
For I'll be
no.
their temporary mama, but not their long-term mama.
Absolutely. And this is where, this is why, giving people the ability to have that level of control over
Mm,
how they feel, words that can make them feel a particular way. It's no different than when we hear a song and it makes us feel a particular way. This is,
exactly.
we're using, these things to help people so that then they can have an experience with a partner on their terms with their words. I think this idea that then anybody could trigger off a particular word and they would respond to it. The answer, of course, is only if they wanted to, and they would have
Right.
had to have given the person that word in the first place. So it's very much about helping people to take charge of their feelings, their sensuality, their sexuality, and helping
Mhm.
them understand what it is that they want. And lots of
Yes.
people don't even know, lots of women and men, but in particular women, really don't have a clue about what they even want sexually. It's about
Mhm.
giving them a voice, isn't it? And the power and the tools to be able to do that, which is
Yes.
powerful. And I know you do a lot of that, especially within
Yeah.
the swinger community, which,
Yes.
that's an amazing thing to be able to do for your clientele, isn't it?
It is fun. And telling women as in the swinger community that if there's a guy that they find hot, to go for it. That's empowering, because a lot of women were told, oh no, no, you need to be the one that's chased. Let the man come to you. And in the swinger verse, it's not like that at all. If you want something, you go get it.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and so giving them that strength, but then also once they get into a play setting, being able to guide that partner to giving them the sex they want. Men want to please you
Yeah.
for the most part, but they don't know how, because every woman is different. So giving them the confidence to guide them through a sex act, or to stop with a sex act and find a way to do that nicely so that you're not crushing an ego. One of the most powerful words that I give my swinger people is instead of ew, no, gross, I don't like that, but you know what really turns me on? And then give them that suggestion.
Mm. Mm.
So you're not crushing the ego. You say, that's really hot, but you know what really turns me on? I would love it if you would just jerk off on my big toe. And the guy will be like, okay. I am so into that. They just want to please you. And so being able to give direction without being a bitch about it, I think is really important too.
Yeah.
So I work with my clients a lot on that.
And that actually is, I think that's the fear for a lot of why women don't say anything, is they worry that they're gonna kind of upset somebody, or they've had or they have done and somebody's had a back reaction. But it's always about, it's not what you do, it's how you do it, isn't it? It's like everything
Right.
in life. No, absolutely. Well, luckily, I managed to press the record button today, so
Yeah.
we have this now. But I am still going to get you back again for many a conversation, I'm sure. If
Okay.
you'll come back, and I promise I'll press the record button every single time in the future.
You know what? If you don't, it's still a great time with you, so it's all good.
So let's remind everybody where they can find the amazing, wonderful Traci Kanaan.
Okay. You can find me at Wings Hypnosis for hypnosis and hypnotherapy. Wings, WINGS, hypnosis.com. Or if you want to find the darker comedy show, Dominatrix of Ditties.com, or if you're easily offended, like you shouldn't be here anyway, Princess of Parodies.com, but go see Dominatrix of Ditties.com first. I'm getting ready to roll out 2 new plans. One is close personal friends of the Princess of Parodies, where you will have access to videos of me, painful videos of me starting out doing comedy. And you'll kind of see my comedy progression. A lot of people don't know that I've opened for Gallagher, I've opened for David Allen Greer, I've opened for Gilbert Gottfried. And then also I'm doing the same thing with the close personal friends of the Dominatrix of Ditties. So you'll be able to get those photos, a little racier, and kind of see the the light and the dark side of what I do up close and personal. And then you'll also be first invited to any special events I do. So if I do a show in Ohio, which I often do, if we have a meet and greet before or after, you are exclusively invited to that, and it'll be a lifetime membership. Pay once, you get all that content for free, and anything I add to it for free as well. So
fantastic. So, you know, when people say how do hypnotists balance things, you've just explained that, the light and the dark.
Yeah. Yeah, I spend a lot of time on the dark side. I'm not going to lie. But, you know.
Well, you know, but that's it, isn't it? That's about, you know, we have to practice what I preach. You know, that's walking your talk, isn't it? In self-acceptance of who you are, the things that you like, and the stuff that you like to do.
Exactly. One of the shirts that I'll be selling will be, don't ever be ashamed of loving the things that, I'm sorry, don't ever be ashamed of loving the strange things that make your heart happy. So I'll be having a t-shirt that says that. So.
Okay, I'll be buying one of those t-shirts. I can assure you. So I should maybe get one for my husband, with me being one of the strange things, probably. But...
with an arrow. I like her. She's strange.
So thank you so much, Traci, as ever, for being on the show and sharing your, you know, really unique and amazing insight into certainly the swinger world of hypnosis and the, you know, the kink world. And we know, I know you're a comedian, but you are a truly amazing hypnotist. So it's just amazing to have you here. And if you're enjoying Trancing in the Sheets, this is season 2, then don't forget to tune into all the other episodes, some of which were with the amazing Traci and a whole host of other people. We've also got some interesting things coming up, and I even took to the streets of Amsterdam recently with a life-size printed model of a clitoris. So, you know, all kinds of stuff going on. And thanks for joining us. You can get me at Trancing Sheets. You can get me here on the Hypnosis 24/7 Live Network, now on Facebook, Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Find me on my YouTube channel. I think I've already said that. Also on Instagram and just about anywhere else. You know, hit me up, ask me a question, and we'll get the person to talk about the thing that you want to hear about. Okay, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.